talking about this little guy right here. This is a small Makeup Geek Z palette, and it is full of my favorite neutral eyeshadows to use on my bridal makeup clients. Every time I show this palette, everybody wants to know what is in it, and quite honestly, I change the shadows out depending on what my needs are. That's the beauty of having a Z palette and these individual shadows, is you can change them out whenever you want to. I have a variation of different brands in this palette, everything from a $2 Coastal Scents eyeshadow all the way up to $12 Anastasia Beverly Hills shadows. Even though I do change these shadows around from time to time, this is generally what ends up in the palette in the end anyway. So let's talk about each individual shadow. The first shadow up here in the corner is called 04 from Morphe. It's a $2 eyeshadow pan, and I used this in my Valentine's tutorial a couple videos ago, and I actually called it 09, but that was a mistake. It's 04. I like this shadow because it's a frosty, peachy vanilla shade. It has a lot of shimmer to it, so this is really good for an inner eye highlight and a brow bone highlight. Next in line, we have Chamois Nude from Coastal Scents, another $2 eyeshadow. For the most part, Coastal Scents eyeshadows are pretty good. They're pretty creamy and they're only $2 each. They have sales all the time and they knock them down to 50% off. So $1 a shadow, that's a pretty good deal. I like this because it's a really nice neutral matte shade, and you can either use it on the lid for a fair-skinned client or you can use it as a brow bone highlight for a darker skinned client. It's just very versatile. Next up, we have Vanilla Bean from Makeup Geek, and it's pretty similar to Chamois Nude. It's just a shimmer eyeshadow. Makeup Geek eyeshadow pans are $5.99. They last forever because you only need a tiny bit of shadow because they're very creamy. They don't have talc or fillers. So they are well worth the $6 that you pay per pan, which is why I have several Makeup Geek eyeshadows in this palette. Next up, another shadow that I used in my Valentine's tutorial is a touch of Lilac from Anastasia, and it's more of a plummy vanilla shade, really nice for the lid. I wouldn't recommend it as a highlight color just because it does have a little bit of a purple undertone in it. Otherwise, very beautiful lid color. Next up, we have Naked Lunch from MAC, a classic eyeshadow, $10 per pan as long as you buy them in the singles like this rather than in the little cases. This is a popular shade because it's really pretty. It's a pinky peachy lid color with gold flecks. Very pretty, a little bit of a sheen without being too intense and shimmery. Next up, something very similar to Naked Lunch is Grain by MAC, another $10 eyeshadow, and this is just more neutral. Naked Lunch is a bit more pink and Grain is more neutral. Very flattering tone, pretty much looks good on everybody. Also, Naked Lunch is a bit more shimmery than Grain. Next in line, we have Cinderella from Makeup Geek. This is a shimmery pink eyeshadow. A lot of people shy away from pink eyeshadow, and I don't know why, because it looks beautiful on everybody, every skin tone, every eye color, it doesn't matter. Pink is so flattering, especially when it's just a really soft pink like this one and not something really super intense and vibrant. This has the perfect amount of sparkle to it without being glittery. Ugh, I love this eyeshadow. It's one of my top Makeup Geek eyeshadows, Cinderella. If you're kind of new to makeup and you want to incorporate more color into your eye makeup, then I would recommend using a pink shadow, like a really soft pink on the lid or blend it out on the lower lash line. It's a really subtle way to add color and vibrancy without being too intense and without being intimidating and scary. Try a pink. I promise you will not be disappointed. Next in line, we have Creme Brûlée from Makeup Geek. This is the perfect transition shade for so many skin tones. Creme Brûlée is just such a perfect mid-tone brown for blending, for using as a transition shade. It's amazing, and it's so versatile because it's just a neutral brown. It's not pink, it's not yellow, it's not orangey, it's not warm or cool. It's just very neutral. It goes with so many different looks. Right below that, we have Fawn from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is a bit more of a yellowy brown. I do have this in my crease today, so you can see. Anastasia shadows are some of my absolute favorites. They are $12 a pan, so they're a bit more on the pricey side. If you buy them in larger quantities, it's cheaper to bundle them that way, but if you're just buying single shadows, they are a little bit on the pricey side, but they're definitely worth it because once again, you only need a teeny tiny bit of shadow to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. I love this shade for the crease. It works for everybody from fair to tan to medium deep skin tones. Next up, another Anastasia shadow right here. This is a pinky light brown called Birkin. Once again, another perfect transition shade. I love it for all the same reasons as I love Fawn. It works for so many different people, and if you're going to do like a pink lid like with the Cinderella, blending with this Birkin shade is perfect. A lot of these eyeshadows are going to look the same to a lot of people, They're not the same, they're similar. Because if I want to blend out with this color one day and then blend out with this color another day, they're going to be two completely different looks. So it depends on what you want to go for. There's so many different combinations that you could do with this palette, which is why I love it. So moving on to this shadow right here, this is Espresso from MAC. It is more of a cool to neutral tone brown. It looks kind of darker in the pan, but once you blend it on, it's a bit softer. It's not really deep at all. I really like to use this to blend out the outer corner and the lower lash line. Next, we have another Anastasia shadow right here. This is Dusty Rose. This is just a slightly deeper version of Birkin right here. They're very similar. I used both of these in my Valentine's Day tutorial, so of course, that will be linked below so you can watch it if you don't know what I'm talking about. I really do love this shade though. The name Dusty Rose suits it just perfectly. It's not warm, it's not cool, it's just almost a grayish pink, which doesn't sound pretty at all, but when you wear it, it's amazing. Next up, we have a Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadow, and this is in the shade Starry Eyed, one of my most favorite shadows in existence. These shadows are pigment. That's all they are, it's just pigment. This is just the most creamy eyeshadow. You get so much color. This is just the most beautiful lid color that there is. Moving right along, next up we have Pink Champagne from Anastasia Beverly Hills, another one of my most favorite eyeshadows in existence. It's very similar to Cinderella, but this is shimmer, sparkle, sheen. It's metallic. It's crazy how shimmery this eyeshadow is. Once again, a perfect way to incorporate color into your eye makeup is by wearing a pink eyeshadow, and Pink Champagne is like the queen of pink eyeshadows. Then right below Pink Champagne, we have Amber from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is one of those shades that every time I wear it, everybody wants to know what it is. The formulation of Amber and Pink Champagne is called titanium, and it is because they are so extremely metallic. You don't need any Fix Plus or Inglot Duraline to make these metallic, they just are because they are like a pigment and oil formula. I also like Amber because from some angles it looks bronzy, some angles it looks gold, and a lot of brides like having that gold lid, so this is just a versatile shade. Looks good on so many different people. Moving on now to Barcelona Beach from Makeup Geek, and this is a cool taupe brown. Perfect for that crease when you want a neutral eye or a cooler toned eye. If you, or if you're a makeup artist, if your client has very reddy skin, anything red, very cool, or pink, eyeshadows that have a lot of warmth like reds and oranges, a lot of times that's really going to enhance the red in their skin, and that is not what you're going for. So a shadow like Barcelona Beach is really going to help neutralize all of the reddiness. It is a solid matte eyeshadow. There is no shimmer whatsoever. The last shadow in this palette is Embark from MAC, and this is the second pan that I've had in this color. I'm not sure what it is about this color, but when I'm blending my brush in it, it starts to kind of crumble away. Both pans that I've had of this color did that, so I'm not sure why that happens. I'm willing to overlook that issue because I love the color so much. This is just a nice, deep, warm brown that looks good on pretty much everybody, every skin tone. It doesn't matter who it is, it looks good on them. You can't really pair it with like Barcelona Beach or Espresso because it's a bit too warm. It's not going to jive with those, but that's why this is a Z palette and we can exchange the colors whenever we want to, or we could pair it with these shades here, this tone here. It is a very, very versatile shadow. That's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys found this informative and helpful and you enjoyed seeing my little bridal palette. I will make sure to mention all of the shadows that I talked about in the down bar below. That way if I was talking too fast or you just missed something, then you can just check down below in the description bar and it will be listed down there for you. But that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel as well, and I'll see you next time. Bye!